What's up, YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a guest book. Now, the concept of a guest book can be implemented in many ways in PHP and in many programming languages. But a guest book, in case you don't know, a guest book is essentially sort of a comments type section where people can comment on your pages or whatever without actually registering. Now, obviously, you want your users to register, so you can take this, or eventually I'll have a how to make a comments page on up on YouTube if I don't already have it. So let's get started. So I have my mysql database up here, PHP myadmin, and actually I'm going to open up my guestbook page. Just got nothing in the code. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to set up our database. So we're just going to create a new table, and I'm just going to use my tutorials database, the same one I use for my user login and registration tutorials. So we're just going to call it Guestbook. Now, the number of fields. In here, we're going to have an ID, which you always want to have. We're also going to have a name for whoever is posted, and obviously the message that they're posting or whatever. Also, what you want to have is the date and the time. Now, I'm going to show you how to format these correctly using the date function. And I have been playing around with the date function, and I've found how I like it to my specifications. So we have 4 fields here. So I'm just going to highlight this and delete it. And we'll come back in here. So we have 4 fields. So our first field is our ID. Our second field is our name. The next one is, and I believe I miscounted. Our third one is our message, and we'll just click go down here so we add another one. There we go. We have our date and our time. Now, our date and our time we're going to be used for sorting and displaying in a certain order. So say we're going to order all of our posts and comments and messages and whatnot in our guest book. We're going to be ordering it by the date, and if something has the same date, if two different messages have the same date, then we're going to go to our time and order it by time. You can also simply order it by the ID, which I'll also show you how to do. So our name, we're just going to set to a varchar of 20. Our message we'll set to text, because message can be can be very long, and depending on what you're using this for, you might want to set it to where's down here. You want to set it to long text or medium text. Our date, I'm just going to set to a varchar because I'm going to format it the way I like it. So I'm just going to set this to a length of about 50. It might be longer, I don't know. I'll just say 75. And our time is going to be a length of, it's around 20 or so. It's like 10. Oh well, 20. Now you want to scroll over, and you want to, for our ID, which is our first field, you want to set the index to primary, and you want to set it as an auto increment. So every time a field or a message has been submitted to our database, that'll automatically increase. Now that we have our database set up, I'm going to create the submit form, which I'm actually going to just do it all in our PHP tags here. So first, what we're going to do is I'm going to echo out a simple HTML code to make it look a little bit nicer. And obviously this is our guest book. I'll just say my guest book. So if we come in here and we refresh, we see that our title has changed to my guest book. And I'm also going to echo out a header. So you want a H1 and H1. And I'm also going to put my guest book. So here we have our header, so now we're going to have our submit form at the bottom of the page. So I'm just going to put some horizontal lines, HR, and I'm going to put 2 of them because in between these 2 horizontal lines is going to be all of our code that's going to connect to the database and actually get the data. And then down here is where I'm going to have the field, the submit field. And now, hitting about 5 minutes or so here. So I'm going to create a form and eventually a table, and our action is going to be our index.php, because this is going to be a self-submitting form, and our method, and type that in wrong, and our method is going to be a post. So our method is post, and then we're going to end our form. Now, inside of our form, we're going to have a table, just to make it look a little bit nicer. And we might add in a width, depending. And I'll just add in a width. I'll say about 400 or so. So inside of here, we're going to have a row and columns. We're going to have 2 columns in each row. So we're going to have, whoops, I'm going to copy and paste this. Okay. So in this, we're going to have, I'm going to change the width of our first row. I'm going to say about 100. So chop that a little bit. We can just get rid of it. Sorry about this. I'm so indecisive. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the column and I'm just going to copy it and paste it 4 times because, whoops, because the we're going to have our name. So we have to have it. I'm actually going to need it another time. So we're going to have our name, and then we're going to have a text box. So input type equals text. So we have a text box, and then we have to give it a name, and our name will be name. So I'm just going to go ahead and add another one here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to copy it, and paste it. So we have another text box, and if we go back and look at our database, we have 4 fields that we're going to need. So our name, our message, our date, and our time. So really, we only need 2 fields, because these we're going to be doing with PHP. So we only need 3 columns, and this isn't a input type because we're going to make it a text box. Sorry about this. And gone. I'm just going to stop this here. I kind of rambled on a bit and didn't do very much. But check out the next video, which we're going to finish our form and then eventually get some data from the database.